Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we are again. It is WREXtra time. I am Paddy Power, and this is the Local Pundit channel. We are covering the aftermath of the match. Today, we were away to Derby, and we pulled off another win, 4 straight in a row for a 2-1 defeat of Derby. A strong team. They came at us. They had a good shot. I like their style of play. They're going to do well this season, but we are on the way, boys. 4 matches in a row, 12 points, back to back so far. Everybody seems very positive in the chat today, so that's fun. Maybe we won't talk too much negative stuff. We won't analyze what needs to be analyzed. Who knows? Let's see. Anyway, for anyone who is not here, if you are new, what do we do on WREXtra time? We talk to you guys and let you lead the topics and hear what you have to say. So first up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw out the link to tonight's show. You are welcome to come on and have a chat with us, especially if there's anyone out there who hasn't been with us before. Do come in, have your say, have a discussion with us, and we may just have a Derby fan coming in tonight. Let's see. Okay, link to show in the comments, guys. Boom, there you go. In the comments. Let's have, first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up the table. Let's have a look at the table. So here we are, even made a different layout for this one. Watch, doesn't it look nicer? First up, as normal, we have Coventry City. They lost today to Birmingham in the early match. I managed to watch it today. It was an absolute banger, back and forth. Every time Coventry scored, Birmingham just smacked them right back. So that was really good. I'm sure John will be pretty happy with their boys today. Home, they look so different to away. So does that help us take top spot? You know, Coventry have to get pulled back before we can take it. Who knows? I don't think it really does. Probably better that Coventry take points off everyone, but that's not really our concern at the moment. Middlesbrough in second, 46 points. Third, Ipswich, 44. So Middlesbrough have taken the lead back. That's because Ipswich match was cancelled today or postponed. 3 different matches were postponed today. So there's a couple of teams falling behind in their matches. Preston North End won their match today, which wasn't fantastic for us. Millwall won their match today. Watford sitting in 6th, did not play today. They are on 41 points. Then Hull is now out of the playoffs because they didn't play either, still 41. Then we have Stoke won today. We won today, and we're sitting on 40 points. So Hull can pull back some points. Watford can pull back some points. And if they do, that will potentially push Millwall down with 43 points. So if you want to look exactly as the table is now, we are 1 point behind. What's going on? What's going on? I am hearing something. What the hell is going on my... I've got a video playing somewhere. Sorry, guys. This is really unprofessional. Where the hell is that sound come from? This is great. If you want to click the link, if you want to come on the show, you'll be in the background and I will get to you as quickly as I can. I still cannot find where the hell the video is. I am hearing an interview. This is so weird, guys. Ah, found him. Goodbye. Goodbye. All right, guys, let's have a look at the chat and see if it's giving out to me. I know I dumped my screen because I was looking for the other video. It was really driving me mad in my headphones. FOTMob, let's bring FOTMob back up and let's put me back to full screen. Right. So in the chats tonight, who do we have? We have the Vosak, 12 straight points. Nick Donlan is going even more positive, 12 points away from Coventry. Wayne is saying it might be a bit delayed, but imagine if this was the start of Steve Barton's 10-game winning run. He obviously made that prediction earlier this season. You never know. Bono C, hottest team in the championship. Table is getting a bit out of whack with cancelled games. And poor old Portsmouth down the bottom of the table, they have 2 postponed matches now. They have to make up. They are going to get in all sorts of trouble trying to get all those matches fitted in. And before they have that done, they're going to be sitting down in the relegation spots, looking up at everybody above them. It's going to be a nightmare for them to get out. But we'll see what they can do. Doesn't really concern us too much. Nick is saying, yes, Ipswich, Watford and Millwall all have a game in hand. Habsification, the Wrexham boys are making all the noise everywhere we go. Now, Vorsak reminds basically the next 2 weeks off. So we have no game at the weekend. We have FA Cup up next, which will be fun. And then we basically have another week before our next match. So a little bit of time off here, guys, and then a fun Prem match in between. HZ is saying 1 point from playoffs. Yes. 4 wins in a row. Andrew C. Right, guys, still waiting for first guess who is going to jump in tonight. Wrexham Roundup is here. Rousey is checking in with us. Rousey, if you're free, come jump in for a while. It'll be fun. He said all along, we will make it the playoffs. Believe it, Wrexham fans, it can happen. I've gone through all the points. It can happen. Absolutely, it can happen. But we need a bit of work to do it. The end of the season is quite tough. We need to build our points early and quickly, in my opinion, and then go into those last set of games with a lot of positivity that we're up there, and then put out some good wins towards the end. Now, Bono C is watching the women play on YouTube. So Scorio, the Welsh channel, has a YouTube channel. And our girls are playing on it right now. I had it up a minute ago, but I dumped it while I was trying to get rid of all the videos. And you can watch it for free on YouTube, unless they have it blocked in certain areas, but I have it. Okay, Paul is here. Hey guys, Derby fan here. Just popped in to congratulate the better team. Well done. And I believe other teams should be scared when they play you. Thank you very much, Paul. Now, Paul, I did say come and join me on the show. If you're still listening, if you're around, come chat to us. I won't take the piss out of you too much for losing. No, we're friendly around here. We'll have a good chat about the match. Would be nice to get some insight into your team, actually. What else? Here we go. Lamar DL, considering how many points we have lost from winning positions, I think the law of averages is finally showing where we fall in order of championship. That's partly my thoughts as well. We have done reasonably well in a lot of the matches, and we have just not finished, lost it. We had tired legs. We didn't have a completely strong squad available. We don't right now, but we're starting to come together and click properly. So I think we are definitely in line for stronger points total from the second half of the season. The question is, how many points will that be, and will it be good enough to slide into the playoffs? It could very well be. Okay. Okay, opinion from Paul here. My opinion of the match is that we was outplayed by a far better team and we deserve to be in the playoffs by the end of the season. Well, with those sorts of opinions, you're absolutely welcome to come and join me. That would be fun. Vosak gives you a little bit of a comment here as well. Derby's counter attack is deadly. Yes, your counter attack is really strong. I like it. Doing a lot of things that we were doing with our 3-5-2 counter attacking scenario. Okay, AZ Randy G is happy with the result, 4 on a bounce. Okay, Paul is still here. Thanks for the invite. So hopefully that means he's organizing himself and is going to join us later. Always fun to talk to someone from a different team. Now, Addison Madison or McReynolds didn't spend all the dollars and time to make the championship level. 6 points from AQ to Premier League. And Paul giving a shout out here at PNE Jeff. We play you next, bro. PNE versus Derby coming up soon. Okay, so we have our first guest, guys. It's Anand. He's here with us today. I'm going to bring him in now. And let's see who pops in afterwards. Anand, hello.
Hello, everyone. Another great win. And we are now well and truly on our way to fighting for a playoff spot. Excellent goals. And Rathbone already almost had another one, if not for a brilliant save. We defended dourly towards the end. This was a much stronger team than what I originally thought it might have been. And they had a very good counter-attack there, which got them the goal. I think Hayam could have made him stay out, but it was a tough defense there. Overall, a great performance. And I think our front three is here to stay now.
It's it's really interesting that we have some players that obviously have some flaws, but they are absolutely playing to their max. They are given everything they have. Now, this is kind of a positive and a negative, but let's just talk about it. So Longman is one that I would pick out. He's a little bit tired, I think. He's a little bit leggy at the moment. He's not as fast as some of our opponents, but he is working his ass off to get to everything he can. And then James would be another one as well. He reads the game very well. He has some lovely passes. He got the pass last week for the last match for Smith. Lovely over the top pass behind the defence. And then tonight, playing from the back, keeping an eye, the ball came loose and he just got on the end of it, had a look up, didn't smash it, just clean, crisp kick, a bit of a curve on it, the keeper couldn't get to it, an amazing shot. So it shows like the quality that we do have in players who are maybe on the tail end of their championship career, but also the fact that we give it up to Parky, that he can get players like that to give everything and want to be in the squad and to give their absolute best. What do you think of those two?
Yeah, I think we are probably going to look for some kind of reinforcement for Longman's position. I did, see him getting beat pretty easily, a couple of scenarios, but he never gave up. So that was the good part there. So definitely, I think that's where they'll be looking at in the transfer window. And nothing wrong with the player. I think it's just that certain wingers at the championship level just get the better of him. Not all games, but this was one of those games. I think Matty James, he has really picked up his level in the last 2 games. I think anytime he goes the aerial route, he's much more effective.
Mm-hmm.
Some of his problems are when he's making those passes along the ground, he's not putting a spin on it and they get intercepted. So if you can improve on that. But I think Matty has been instrumental in the last couple of wins for us. I think, so for those two, definitely Longman, the games are adding up for him now.
Yeah. Thomason is another one. He's obviously stepping up in a position that he previously wouldn't have been very comfortable in. and you can see he's doing his absolute best. He was exhausted again by the end of this match. He was dying. So yes, he's very good in the position. I like him there. He definitely is solid backup. And we did say on the pre-show that Maka wasn't on the bench tonight, even though he was available. So we have Thomason and Kikache on the left-hand side to cover each other. And then on the right-hand side, we had Barnett on the bench in case Longman did have to come off on that side. So it looks like maybe Thomason has now squeezed Maka off the bench potentially even. So we'll see what happens there. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think Thomason has the threat of darting in and just not staying on the wings, and that poses its own set of threats, because then Broadhead, he's very intuitive. He will fill up the empty space if Thomason
Yes.
starts moving around. So that's it's a good combo out there.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. I wasn't thinking of talking about that, but yeah, Broadhead is happy to move further out on that left-hand side and cover a bit and kind of swap roles with Thomason if Thomason decides to push in. So that's very good. They seem to be working well together in conjunction there on that side. Right, so that's kind of I suppose some of the weaknesses in the team a little bit. But starting lineup, when you saw it, were you happy with the? Hang on, actually, before we go into this, I'm going to bring Habs in because Habs is now here too to join us. So let's bring him in. Hey, Habs, how you doing?
Yo, it's Interpol's Most Wanted. There you go. How you guys doing?
Good. So I'm going to jump on a new question here. So that's why I thought to bring you in. Okay, so let's start with Habs then as the new guest for a minute. When you saw the lineup tonight, what did you think? A couple of changes from last week.
Initially, I thought it'll be okay. The only issue I had was with Windass, where I thought initially, thinking that maybe he wasn't okay because we knew of reports that were coming out that he's still having some calf issues, and when the match came out, it looks to be that case that he seems to be having a bit of those calf issues because he was kind of just not doing as well.
He looked a little off today. He did. I think.
Yeah, I think he just needs to get some proper rest because he's been going hard. I think it was in the P&E match he got himself injured. So yeah. He needs some time.
Anand, what was your first impression of the lineup?
Yeah, I think if O'Brien was a better shooter, he would have started today's game. And when I mean shooter, I mean finishing up the goals. Even today, when he came in towards the end, he had an opportunity to go with his left foot, and he decided to bring it back into his right foot and lost the ball. And I think one of the things that O'Brien might be doing wrong is that, anywhere when you're shooting the ball, you might have from 5 to 12 different options, depending on whether you're right in the middle of the goalpost or on the sides. And O'Brien always seems to pick out one of the top two options because those have a higher percentage of getting inside the goal. But the goalkeepers at championship level are good enough to position themselves for the top two options. So O'Brien has to, start going for the other options and risk the ball not going into the goalpost at all. Because what's happening is that the goalkeepers are 100% sure he's going for the top two options. You'll see Broadhead always going for a lower percentage option, usually the corners. Maybe too much on the other side. But, O'Brien is always going for the top two. So he has to mix it up so that there is enough doubt in the minds of the goalkeeper. And then, on the flip side, that's reducing his confidence. So the left foot would have been a lower probability, but that was the better shot to take.
Okay, so I maybe I missed the very start of what you said there. So you wanted O'Brien to play from the start?
If he was a better finisher, I think Parky would have started him.
Okay, but I was asking you about the lineup. So you don't want him starting, or you do?
If Windass and Kiefer are healthy, I don't think O'Brien is starting in this lineup. I think Smith just pipped him to that role as of last game.
Mhm.
So I think O'Brien has to start scoring the starting lineup.
Okay. So who did get into the starting lineup was Sam Smith, right? We got Broadhead back, and Windass back, assuming he's good enough, but they were chosen, so that left the third spot, and third spot then was for Sam Smith. 2 seconds, guys. Paul has been trying to get in, and it looks like it's starting to work. Paul, thumbs up. Are you good? We'll bring you in. Hang on, let's bring him in. Paul, are you there? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, welcome. You're here.
There you go.
Okay. Hello. 2 seconds. I'll just finish this question, then we'll have a little chat. Okay. So, what did you think about Smith coming into the lineup, and how much do you rate him? Should he be breaking into the rotation of the front three, or how do you see Smith? Abs, you want to go for that?
Yeah, I think he works very well in terms of the front three, but he has to be used differently. And again, what we saw today was another classic Sam Smith goal, where he goes for that. He goes for that type of goal where you see that when you see it, that a Sam Smith goal you do. So it's that kind of like it's like he's going for the dive or something, where he's just going to put his entire body on the line or something. Or he's going to give you some kind of trick shot here. It's going to be some kind of a goal that is very much Sam Smith-esque. And that was I think it was a Broadhead assist as well, wasn't it?
It was, yes. He knew where to put that ball for Sam Smith. They're obviously getting more comfortable together. Like that was a lovely spot to put it in.
It was. And Broadhead's just racking up those assists and those goals the entire season now, this second half. So it's looking good in terms of this. And in terms of the rotation wise, it depends on what kind of match you're going to use them for Smith. Yeah. Like, he was really good because Smith gets into those, he stretches the defense and he makes them shake a bit. He makes them a bit worried. That's his kind of thing, as opposed to Kiefer Moore, where he's like, he's there, and if he gets into those spots, they're going to be laying a brick if he's there, because he will get that ball into the goal. While Smith, he will stretch the defense, and everyone's going to have to turn around and see, like, oh no, he's there. So it's a different type of number 9. It is. One's very fast and gets into those areas, and you get that high intensity moment, and the other one is more of a like, you better make sure you stop me, because I'm going to get that goal if you can let me in that space. One's more spatial based, the other one's more like high intensity based.
Okay. Anand, what did you think of Smith?
Again, another great goal by Smith. If the last 2 goals, as a forward, you have to have an element of surprise in your shot making ability. And if you look at Smith, once the ball is in a favorable spot for him, he will take the shot. If you look today at Thomason's effort and O'Brien's efforts, they had a first shot and they didn't take it because they wanted at a more comfortable position for themselves. But at the championship level, it will close by the time you move the ball around. So, so definitely Smith is, is really come to the fore now, and he is definitely going to compete for that 3rd spot every game, even if everyone is healthy.
Yeah, Sam Smith is an interesting one for me because play balls into him in the correct way, and we saw it today. And he had other chances that he really scared the defense. So he should be able to keep repeating this if he gets played the right balls. He did it in the last match. But if we bring in another attacker again this January, which we may or may not, we'll wait and see on that one. I do worry he's still going to get pushed down the line. What's your opinion on? Do you think, like, where would you place him in our list of attackers?
Yeah, if we get another attacker, it's probably a Premier League level attacker. So I'm pretty sure everybody gets pushed down one at that point, and maybe he will go back to the bench at that point. And never say never, right? A striker is always good, and we seem to have a little bit of an injury problem right now. But yeah, if we get another attacker, it might be a premium attacker, and Sam Smith might go to the bench. But hopefully, even if he goes to the bench, he becomes a 60-minute replacement and not an 85-minute replacement that Parky seems to have gone into lately with a lot of players. So let's see how that goes. But right now, he's probably definitely competing for that number 3 spot with the current lineup.
So whose spot would he steal? Would it be Windass?
As of now, it will be Windass, yeah. I think Broadhead is doing a lot of good assists, and Kiefer Moore just gets his spot back when he's healthy. So he would be, I think, with forwards, it's, to a point almost unfair. If you can score goals, you get to be the forward. So that's the bottom line.
Yeah, I was really impressed with Broadhead's movement today. What did you think of that, Hads? He just looked so solid. He was getting in lots of spaces. He was getting in attacking positions for himself, and he was giving lots of potential assists to others. Yeah,
he was always getting to those dangerous positions. You can tell he always drives that ball forward. He always gets to those dangerous spaces. And every time I was looking at him, I was thinking, where's Thomason? Where's Thomason? Just make sure Thomason is there, just to make sure he's there, either doing underlapping or overlapping runs, so that you can try and link up the play together with him and Doyle. But yeah, he just whenever he's there, it's just, you can immediately feel a threat that's about to happen to the opposition. He's always there. He's always some kind of threat that's about to happen. Either he's got his link-up play, or his ability to just drive the ball forward. It's just very. It's always just there. And I mean, I think he was part of the process. I think it was either him or Thomason that helped kind of get the Matty James goal as well. I think he was part of that process.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
I think
yeah.
I think the James goal was a poor defensive clearance. I think true to their breakout, they are a quick counter-attacking team. So he was making some weird pass to somebody on the midfield, and it was totally wrong. And James just got a hold of it and, put an end to the game, sort of. So that was a really a good luck, some fortune on our side. Yeah.
Yeah, with that one, I think he just saw the pass off to his left, and then he took the pass, not noticing that James was potentially there to intercept. Just missed the danger, and he got in on top of it. So just a poor mistake when you're under pressure. But doesn't our new style just invite mistakes? It puts teams under so much more pressure compared to previously.
It does. It does. I mean, you could tell how much more pressure we put on the opposition now. And the thing is that whenever we do that, they're going to... The best thing I notice is that a team like Derby is a typical low block to mid block kind of team and go hard on the transition, as opposed to with Blackburn. But Blackburn were a bit like they were basically they were running basically a skeleton crew. Derby were a lot stronger, and they knew how to be clinical with the way they could do that. Because when they went on the transition and on the counter attack, they went hard. They did, and you could tell how hard they would go every time. Because if you gave the ball to them, if they managed to get it from you, they were going to run to the other end. They were, and or pass it out. It was very odd for me to see how they were trying to play a bit of possession as opposed to just trying to play more expansive football as well. But that was kind of predictable. When you score those 2 goals, you open them up quite easy, and they have to try and come forward. But the thing is, we end up playing defense. We end up playing that game, but that's basically what we're used to doing anyway. We've been doing that for years. We know how to play low blocks. We know how to play mid blocks. We can play that game as well.
Yeah. I do think that Derby have a very strong team with a couple of players, though. Some of their players are really high quality, and they work as a unit to do
Adjaman.
those quick transitions. Adjaman is fantastic. Yeah, he really does yeoman's work in that team, trying to get it done. And I suppose that's one of the problems. Look, they are a little bit lower down the league. They don't have as much money, stuff like that either. So they can't have top end players in every position. But it looks like they have enough high quality players in enough positions to make them dangerous. And we can see that by the number of points they've achieved and how they're overachieving this season. And if they don't have the top end players, they have quick players in the other positions.
Absolutely. I mean, one other player was Blackett Taylor as well. Adjaman and Blackett Taylor, they were so incredible on there. On that, we should buy them. It'll be useful. I mean, Adjaman is an American player, so we should have a reason to buy American players. Apparently, we're Hollywood FC. So, but yeah, I mean, yeah, but they're incredibly quick on the transition as well. And here's the thing: I'm not too sure. I think he would fit quite well in the Broadhead role if we were to get him, or the same with Blackett Taylor. They're very good. They were. Their right side, not so much. They tried going down their right, but we kind of had them covered, except for that one goal they got us on. But that's only because we would end up having this massive high line we did because we were pushing so deep into their end.
Yeah. Kim here is making a little comment. Aubameyang drew a yellow off Max with a dive. Wrexham doesn't want those type of players. Without going completely off topic, I would argue Wrexham has had those type of players.
Everyone does it. Everyone plays dark arts. Everyone plays dark arts. We all complain about it, but we all do it. We all love it when we do it. So.
Okay, so now we have to complain about the commentary team. From Lamar, one of the Paramount commentary teams said Wrexham lack a team identity and explained by saying we don't keep possession. Thoughts? We seem to go back and forth from possession to counter attack depending. Okay, I think this is a load of shite. The Paramount commentary team are useless. Some of the stuff they were saying, and in previous matches as well, they only have a very cursory idea of who we are as a team, how we work. It's crazy. Look, we are in a bit of transition, so I suppose in terms of that, there's a little bit of a switch in identity. So maybe it doesn't look as fluid, but it's very clear for us to see what the identity is because we watch them every week. We are now an attacking team. We're no longer a counter-attacking team. We are going out to attack. We will leave ourselves open to counter occasionally, and we're just going to have to accept that. And there's going to come a match where it's going to bite us on the arse. We're going to get caught 2 and 3 times, and we're going to lose matches because of it. And right now, I have to put this out there. We're going to have to accept that when it happens, you know. And guys, you can remind me of this when I come on the WREXtra time after we get an absolute slap by one of the teams that does it to us. And you can remind me I said that. It already happened.
It already happened. We were 3-1 down on the very first match where we went on this formation. And I wonder what would have happened if we had lost that match and not won 5-3. Because we were getting caught.
Okay, yeah.
But you know what's interesting though? We with the pure 3-4-3, we stick with more of a Kiefer form when we do a pure 3-4-3, but we switch to a 2-1 formation with Smith. We do because he's able to stretch the defense so much more easily.
Yeah.
So we go into a 2-1 far more with Smith. And also, is it the Paramount Plus commentary or is it the panel? With the panel show, I'm not too sure.
Panel show earlier in the week we were talking about him. Yeah.
What with Troy and Hannah Cash?
Troy Deeney, yeah.
he doesn't know anything, and he wasn't a good manager either.
He was a manager for about 2 minutes. 1 second.
Again, I think the stadium was really hopping again today. Our away crowd is, able to pretty much drown out their 20,000+ supporters, and they've been doing that on a consistent basis. And just if any one of you are driving back, if you want to join in, please stop somewhere and then join in, because unlike the American roads where you're on a highway and you don't have to really look left or right, I think in my very short stay in England, the English roads are much more attention seeking, so you can't really do that. So please stop if you want to join in.
I would also say with the stadiums, Derby Stadium looks nice as well. It looks nice and clean. Did anyone notice that?
It's a lovely stadium, yeah.
It's got that nice black and white look to it as well. It's a very clean looking stadium, and it's got a lot of seats.
Yeah,
Taking
I was
advantage
looking
of
at
these away days.
I was hearing the drone guy had a segment on Derby, and that seems to be the cricket ground as well.
Okay. That's the cricket ground as well?
I think so, or maybe the
I
previous one
don't-
was. There was some mention of the cricket ground.
Okay. So Lamar here put up another comment. He said it was the panel show he was talking about. So this must have been just after the match when the panel came on. So it was Troy Deeney and the other fools, whoever was on it tonight, talking about no identity. Last week they were talking about, we didn't spend correctly in our defensive players because we don't have players like Premier League players who are 50
Like John
million.
Stones.
Like John Stones. Like, are you crazy? What the hell has that got to do with championship level players?
I don't know. And it's the same with other commentators like Callum Fowler, thinking that, because we spent 33.2 million, that we're supposed to be in the positions that we are. When like, mate, that's turning over our squad. We had to change our squad to a championship squad.
We're barely kind of middle of the road for value of our squad. Our squad value has not gotten up there with that 30 million compared to other teams. Not even close. So if you're just comparing value of squad, it's stupid. Now, of course, you can make the argument that we have players that aren't worth a lot because you can't sell them for a long-term contract to other teams, but they're still extremely valuable at the moment at their current level. They can do a job. So you should, in one respect, argue that our squad cost is not particularly relevant to how good they are, because we have a lot of older players who are basically on their last contract. But besides that fact, we have a lot of ground to catch up. And if they're going to talk about saying, your squad cost actually means anything, well, what about Leicester? Where are they? What about Sheffield United? Where are they this season? Your squad cost does not dictate how many points you win in a season.
It's how you use them as well. And I don't get some of these pundits where they're talking about like we need. It's especially that John Stones comment I heard. I think was that Troy who said that, because thinking
Troy was the Stones comment.
I'm thinking, what do you think we are? We're not like his team, Birmingham. Maybe you guys can afford him right now, and you can go and get yourself a John Stones, and good for you. You guys won today as well, Troy. But don't come up with this bizarre comment on here. I'm like, what is this? Just what is this nonsense?
Yeah,
I'm just confused by it. I'm just confused by such comments.
Yeah, look, it's saying things for the sake of saying things on TV. They haven't spent enough time to actually dig in to something very relevant. But just seeing as it was mentioned last week, and I kind of brought it up, let's talk about Doyle for a little bit, because he wasn't cheap, right? But he's a young player who is growing and could potentially be worth a lot of money to us later if he does move on, or indeed if he stays with us for multiple seasons. I have been waiting to actually see him and say he looks good. I mean, like future good, that he could be a fantastic player. For me, I think today was one of his best matches. And I think he impressed me to a point that I'm now thinking he could have been some extremely good business. I know other people have been saying it, so it's not like I'm the first person to come up with this. Lots of people in the chat have been saying he could be amazing for the future. But I was just holding off a little bit, just watching him to see. Today, I think, was the first time properly he impressed me. What did you guys think? Am I wrong in that? Should I have seen this sooner? Or how do you rate him today? Cabs,
You want to go ahead, Adnan? Okay, I'll go ahead. So maybe it was because I can't really know how you may have seen it there. But the way I saw it was you could see the magic come through in the first Blackburn match. We went up when we faced him at home. When he was put on, you could tell then he started coming forward because he was part of the leading charge of getting us into the to get the equaliser. But it was really, and you could tell that there was something there, but he just wasn't quite ready yet before, because once he got his red card and he got his basically mini preseason, and you can tell he's leaned down as well. So he's much more leaner looking because you can tell by his face that there was something a lot different now. And now that it was the Sheffield match that you really got to see what he was capable of doing. For me, that was when I saw it, where I could see, okay, now we're finally being able to see that Man City style of play coming in, that kind of like link up and that kind of just constantly moving forward. And if you need to defend, he'll go there and he'll stop it, but he will also make sure once he stops it, we're going forward again. He's always there to just make sure he stop, go forward, stop, go forward. Every time. That's his objective. Stop the ball, pass it on to the next person to make sure it goes forward.
Okay, and what's your impression?
Yeah, I'm somewhat of a lazy watcher of the game, so
Yeah,
I
it's fine.
blank out when the midfield is making short passes, and then I start watching when the ball goes to the front third or the back third. So maybe I should change my watching pattern, and that's why I don't have much of an input on this one.
Okay, that's fine. Kim here is giving a little shout. A reminder that Callum Doyle just turned 22. He is younger than Max.
Like a year younger, right?
Yeah, about a year younger. It's the spark I was waiting for. I could see him getting better. I could see Doyle settling in. I don't know. It's weird how just tonight in particular, I felt like when I was watching him, I could see a really good future potential.
You was looking for the magic.
Yeah, it's like with Broadhead. Very quickly when Broadhead came on for short minutes, I could tell he was very good. And I was just waiting to kind of see the interaction with the rest of the team and clicking and the proper magic. And for me, Doyle was getting better. He was doing decent jobs, but I was just waiting to see that spark to say, this guy could be great. And I think tonight was the first time I've seen that. And for me, it's a little different. Now, people might hate me for saying this. It's a bit different with Max. I think Max is absolutely improving. I don't know where his upper level actually is. I don't see the same sort of spark of brilliance. For me, he is on the job learning, and his knowledge and his experience is kind of getting there. But I'm seeing it incrementally with him.
With Max, you can tell he's growing into the season.
Mm-hmm.
He is, because the way he's being used is very different to the way he was being used last season as well. But you can't. I mean, when you look at him and Doyle, they came up through a completely different system.
Yeah,
they
absolutely.
Completely different system. You can tell Doyle went through that Man City system, that world-class style of academies, and you can tell Max had come through our system, which is more like a yeoman style thing, where you're just like, okay, I'm learning on the job. I'm going to see what I can do, what I can get better on, and everything else, because it's very different. because we didn't. What do we have? We have a Cat C now academy. At the time when he came through, it wasn't even. I don't think it was registered as a.
It wasn't.
As any kind of we didn't have a properly registered academy at the time, so he came through our system, and we're seeing the fruits of that. And he's going to get better. Here's the thing: I know Josh doesn't really care much for him, but I think he will get better. He will get better. He's gotten better, and you're seeing it as well. I can see it, the way he's linking up play as well, because he doesn't just stop. He's controlling the game as well, as opposed to the way Doyle is that stop, go forward. With Max, it's slow down the pace, find the pass it through. If we can't go there, go sideways. Well, pass it to Dom basically, and then try and see if he can find space there.
Yeah,
because he will go through either the midfield or to the wing backs. He would.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a fair kind of analogy to explain it. When I look at Max, sorry, let's do the other round. When I look at Doyle, it's potentially someone who's kind of like come out of university after 4 years with a degree versus Max, who is someone who has spent those 4 years working, and they're coming in at the same level.
Tradesman.
Completely different styles, different mentalities, different ways of looking at things, but neither is right or wrong. And it's kind of, well, we'll see where they go.
The best way to describe it is one went, as you said, Doyle went to university, whilst Max went to trade school.
Yeah.
So he's an industrial welder, Max is, and he's an industrial welder, and Doyle is an electronics and electrical and electronics engineer. That's the best way I can describe it.
Okay. What I suppose that the best compliment I can maybe give both of them, just to kind of finish up and move on from this, is I do think there's a world where we're still in the championship 2 seasons from now, and Doyle and Max are both still playing.
Yeah, I could see that. But here's the thing: we don't know their levels still.
No, we don't. And look, I'm not saying I can guarantee they'll still be there in 2 seasons either. But out of all the players we have, there's probably not a huge amount of them that you tick a box and say 2 seasons from now I could see them still being in their position.
And the thing is, though, we know there's Premier League interest in them. We know there is. Well, there is Aston Villa, and there is Aston Villa that looks at Max and they're like, you might be interesting on the bench. But again, they'd probably just stick him out on loan, which I'm like, no, you're not doing that.
Maybe they're worried about coming down to the championship.
I wouldn't say that. Not with the form they're on right now.
Okay. Right then, let's throw it out to you guys. Do you have a topic you want to move on to? Something we want to discuss about the match? Players.
I'm sure you got something.
I had an observation. I think
Okay.
Broadhead has missed, I think, 3 goals where he's just going to the corner of the goal post, and I think he's missed 3 in the last 2 games. And he did he hit the goal? He hit the crossbar once today, right? So he, he
hit the crossbar as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe he's going for, with his pace, he should probably move some of those shots in. I don't think the goalkeepers are going to stop any of his shots, so maybe that's something he will consider.
I wonder with him, is it just maybe a little bit of overexcitement that he still hasn't just totally settled down in his new position, in his new role? He's still like he obviously looks experienced. We know how good he is. He still looks like he's a little bit excited whenever he gets into those dangerous positions. I think he's still trying to show off for
Yeah.
the boss and the fans and everybody else. I don't think he's totally settled into the I've nailed this. This is my position. This is where I am, and is just taking that little bit, half a second extra to get it.
Yeah, the game's not slowing down for him the moment he's taking the shot. That happens for Sam Smith. That's happening right now for Ollie. So the game has to slow down for you to basically, think of two things. That shot is going in, has to go between the goalposts, and has to have a decent chance of evading the goalkeeper. I think he's just going for full power, and the ball is always curling out.
But damn, he's good though.
Oh, yeah.
You can see the movement today and where he's going to. His brain, you can see, is going a mile a minute. Like all these different options. Where am I going? How am I going to do this? It's like a computer, like ticking off angles and stuff. And yeah, maybe the finished product he just isn't perfect on, but maybe he'll settle just a little bit.
I mean, Matty James is really starting to shine now in the Championship, and you can see it.
Yeah,
that's what.
Go on.
No, go ahead. You go ahead.
He is. I really like James. You can see all the positives in James, but the one problem is he's lacking a bit of speed. Sometimes.
That's the only thing.
He's lacking a little bit of pace. Again, he's the Parky mentality, the Wrexham mentality. He will play his ass off. You can see him when he's at top speed. He got outpaced today, and he kept going. And I think he got a toe on it in the very end. He won't give up, and he will keep trucking along. But I can see a world not too far in the distant future where we find a better Matty James. That's somewhere where we can upgrade. But he absolutely, certainly for the near future, he is a fantastic player to have on the bench if we do find someone who takes that spot more permanently.
The thing with him is that you can tell the way he's either looking for space or is finding the passes, and he's going to be there to cut off anyone who's going to be there to try and get through. But it's really starting to show now, especially in the formation and especially with the players that we're using in the particular way that we're using them. Him and Sheaf together are just providing these passes and these spaces that are being opened up for us now. And even Sheaf today, he performed incredibly as well. I don't think most people really pointed him out, but he really did. Like, he was constantly going forward. Whenever the ball was out there, he was always getting the second balls as well. He was. Him and James always getting second balls, always finding new places to either pass to, either Sheaf to Longman or James to either Thomason. You could see those two just looking for them. They're always scanning around. They are.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's the experienced head. It's understanding where people are going to run, and he's intercepting them at the perfect point instead of trying to outrace them, because he knows he doesn't have the speed. And he can tell by the way they're dropping shoulders, by the way they're turning, which way they're going to run. He can tell the balance of other players, and he's intercepting in the right places. And he can absolutely see all the players moving around him for those long passes. And he knows he has the skill to take them as well. So they're using their head instead of they're using their feet, because they've lost that pace, but they still have all the experience from their years at doing this.
And
I mean, Matty James has spent time in the Premier League as well. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
And Matty James keeps Sam Smith very interested in proceedings. So I think they are a great combo right now. So it keeps the defenses also on edge when, because that potential is always there. So I think as long as we have Sam Smith, Matty James is always a good option because he knows how to get the ball to him. Yeah.
Now, there's an interesting comment here. I don't know if this is nice or not, but I understand the point of it. But here, Mr. Make Me says that might have been Matty James's last professional goal. And if it is, what a goal it was. Fantastic goal. Hopefully not.
Yeah, there will be
but-
more because we have a front three, so the defenses are dropping back. So there will be open spaces on that 22-yard line if more folks want to take. Well, Ollie Rothbone took that shot from the same area, so that space is going to be more open in the upcoming games.
Yeah. Last season for us, Matty James scored 2.
I mean, he's not really a scorer, so
he's not. He's not. I'm not criticizing him for it.
I'm aware, but it's just that if anyone thinks that he should score more, it's like, well, that's not really his role. His role is to make sure he can get the balls into the area so that the people who can score. But if he's given that chance to, and he has the opportunity, let him go for it. And if it goes in, it goes in. And that was top bins. That goal.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to move the conversation on a little bit. So people have been asking about Kakache, and we're gonna discuss Kakache because he's obviously the first one back. But this one kind of popped out to me. How do you think Kabori will synergize with Broadhead? Would be an exciting prospect. Well, now first of all, Broadhead is on the opposite side, so that it's wrong. It's Kabori and Windass at the moment the way they're playing. So and Rathbone, yeah, on that side. So first of all, talking about the wingers, let's go to Kakache first. So Kakache was on the bench again, and didn't get the nod to start. I mentioned a little bit about Thomason. He's playing his ass off, and he's probably at his immediate level for how much he can do, but he is bloody dangerous for what he can do, and he's absolutely wrecked getting off the pitch with all the running he has to do. Do you see Kakache doing better than Thomason when he comes back? Do you expect him
Not right now. I think Parky is going to stick with Thomason till we have a game, till we have a loss or a draw of some kind, because I think that's Parky's style. He doesn't want to screw up the momentum in any way at all. So unless you're injured or there is a bad game, Kakache is probably going to, there was a good opportunity for Kakache to start today because Thomason was tired even in the last game.
Yeah.
So the point that he did not get to start today sort of tells me that, Thomason, whatever he's doing, he's keeping the coaches happy. So Kakache will probably come in when either there is some kind of injury or we have a bad game.
The one thing I would say about that, I agree with you in general. If the team is playing well, he doesn't like to change it too much. But we do have the FA Cup match next. And I think depending on who he's putting out there for the FA Cup, that'll be an interesting one to see what he does.
Yeah,
I think he should have came on a lot earlier, Kakache, because he came on around the 90th minute or just before that. And it wasn't because you could tell straight off. It was too late, but you could tell Thomason was just blowing hard. He was. You could see it. He was literally there, and there were points where he was just basically hobbling at that point because he was exhausted, having to go up and down that position. Like he was exhausted, but he was still pushing himself. He was. It's going to be something that he's going to have to. He's going to get better at doing, but that is Kakache's position. That is what he's naturally used to doing.
Mm-hmm.
So he should be doing that, and he should have given him more time so he can get his match fitness back up to point. Where if we're going to go up against Forest, if he does put him on as a starter on Forest, it's going to be something he needs to do because his match fitness won't be at the same level as Thomason's right now because it's something we're going to need. But he's a different player though, Kakache. He's more physical and he's faster than Thomason. We know he's faster than Thomason. We've seen him play.
I think Thomason, even though he was tired, he was not losing a step. So there are some players who can be tired all they want, but they'll still, be able to find that gear when they need to.
He was absolutely fighting for everything. I agree there. He was not giving up. He wasn't saying, okay, I'm at 75 minutes, coach, take me off. He was still out there doing his job. no matter how tired he was. Now, there's some comments here on this. I want to kind of just go through here. Matt is saying, easing Kakache back into the team can only help us for the rest of the season. Bonus, we are also winning in the meantime. That's fair enough. Mr. Yeah. The left wing back position has been Wrexham's weakest point this season. So I'm sure that they will strengthen there in January. I don't think it's completely unreasonable to think that Kakache will be dropped. I do. I kind of do. I do think it's a bit unreasonable, actually, because I like Thomason. He's a bit different. His final attack maybe isn't good enough. He got in some positions today. I would have hoped he would get a couple of stronger shots off himself. He was in the position.
He gave so many good crosses as well, and no one was there. No one was there to just try and fill in those points. If Kiefer was there, he would have gotten those. He would have gotten a header on that, because there were a lot of nice crosses that Thompson were doing.
Yeah, I'm not blaming him for some of those choices, but if you take Kakache and Thomason, I think Kakache looks more dangerous when he's right in front of the box. When he cuts in with the ball, you're waiting for him to shoot. So it's a little different. And we did bring in Kakache specifically for that role. He is more trained to suit maybe the energy levels needed for running back and forth. He's a bit faster than Thomason, and again, I'm not having to go with Thomason. These are things that he's only now getting used to. He wasn't planning to be doing these, and he's doing his absolute best, and he's doing a good job. But absolutely. I think Kakache's upside is still there. I do think it's unreasonable to simply drop Kakache completely. Now, might be a while before they flip back or whatever, but yeah. Besides that, now that we have Thomason, though, I'll agree it was potentially the weakest point in the early season, right? I don't necessarily think it's our weakest point right now.
No,
and I
don't
think I don't think it's the best position to put money into, because it may never be used to the same level. Because if you bring someone else in and you dump Kakache and Thomason down to the bench, and then that person has no injuries, you're wasting a lot of valuable talent then. There's other places I think it's more worthwhile, which then kind of swings me over to the right-hand side. So you got the right wing back. Now we know Kabore, while he was fit, was there every match. He was a guaranteed starter. But we have Longman as the backup, and we've already said it, he's doing his best for the matches, but he's not really at the level we would like for a promotional playoff charge on that right-hand side.
He's pushing himself.
He's pushing himself. And I said it earlier, he's working his ass off to get the best out of what he can do, what that position can do. But again, this is another problem for me, right? Yes, we need a backup for the right wing back, right? But what do you do? Do you bring someone in who's better than Kabore, assuming you can even find someone, first of all, and pay lots of money? You can't really bring in a loan to take over from a loan. I don't think many clubs are going to agree to that scenario where you have two loan players fighting it out to try and play, especially if it's Kabore. But if he goes down injured, it will really hurt the rest of the season. It's a tough one for me. It's a singular position, a singular player.
Yeah, we are definitely getting a replacement for, not a replacement, but we are definitely going to fortify Longman's position with somebody. And then, the splurge might happen at the midfield and maybe at the forward. But, those are, we have to definitely address that, because, we see a lot of good crosses coming in from the left side, but not from the right. So we definitely have to address that.
But will it address itself when Kabore comes back? That's part of this equation. Or now are you kind of worried that he's going to get injured again?
Yeah, I think the Kabore style and, to some extent, Ollie's style, make them prone to injuries because when they go down, they're running at top speed. So I think, and just this, I think Longman does have trouble. He's putting in his best effort, but he does have some trouble with some of the better wings of the other team. So I think it is it's an obvious place to fortify. And if not for Thomason, the same would have applied to the left side. But the right side is definitely a candidate now.
I mean, the thing is that you can tell when Longman is really pushing himself, when he's trying to get into those spaces, when people are doing those passes into those spaces, and he's really pushing himself to get into those positions, or when he's trying to get past defenses. So he's really pushing himself. And if it was Kabore, the only issue now is that before, when we had Kabore, the issue is that people are using overloads on him. When we have both our wing backs and we have the proper formation that's working for us, he becomes much more protected. He can do one-on-ones, he can. And he can so easily just dash past them, he can. Now the issue is that we've got a formation and an identity as well, and a play style that's working for us. But with Longman, he's pushing himself so much that you can tell he's not able to just get over certain hurdles. That's something that Kabore is able to get through. And one thing I would notice, when Kabore does his low crosses across, those would be really useful. They would be. He would like him dashing past the defenses, doing those low crosses
with 3 in the box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
With either Windass or Moore or Broadhead, just getting those tap-ins. He would be so useful for a tap-in. He would be.
And I think Longman is playing too much right now because we have no other option. So that also works against him for right now. But either way, I think we should definitely look for an additional player there.
Okay. Now, Rob Tillman has an interesting point here, which I want to bring up. So the team is seeming to grow past the wing-back reliant formation. Now, this is an interesting point. We have been able to move more centrally recently with the 3-4-3, and we kind of have had no choice, really. We've had to go through the middle a little bit. So when we get Kabore and Kikache back, are we going to be less reliant on our wing backs still? Or are we going to open up and shove it back up the wings occasionally, but then also have our mid-channel?
Once we have Moore back, we have to go back to wings because Moore essentially towers over the rest of the field and the wing backs become important again. I think with Moore out of the equation, the wings are not very obvious. I think even Thomason has started darting more in because Moore is not there to give him the passes. And I like Habs mentioned, his passes are not getting intercepted the right way right now, all the crosses, because we don't have the height inside the field. So I think when Moore is back, our wings become important again.
Yeah.
I mean, we are still reliant on our wings as part of our way. You can tell we're still reliant. We are now able to go through the middle far more because we've been forced to go into the middle more, and our formation and play style allows us to now play more through the middle, especially when we've got the 3 up front.
Mm.
And the way we play is completely different. But our wing backs are extremely important. We can't. Maybe we were more reliant because we were still searching for something of what kind of play style we're going to play this season and what we're going to have going forward. But this has now been cemented a bit more. Now that we've got basically a converted wing back in the form of Thomason, we're able to play a lot more through the middle and use the talent of Broadhead and Windass, or O'Brien and Rathbone, in a way that we can use them functionally as this hybrid role they play as 10s and 7s and 11s. So it works much more. it works. It complements the wing backs more effectively, and they're able to do these overlapping and underlapping players that we desperately needed.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I think
go on. Go on.
yeah, the middle is always fraught with risk because you just open yourself up to quick counterattacks, and people respect, only if they respect the edges will the middle be open. Once they stop respecting the edges, they will fold into the middle and you won't get anything through. So having very strong left and right wings is really essential to keeping the middle open.
Yeah.
It stretches them. It stretches them.
It does stretch them, and I've noticed a little bit in today's match as well. We were going a little bit direct with some of the passes. There were some long passes to forward players where if we have wingers, they can maybe take that ball, do the overlaps on the wings rather than potentially having to pass them forward. So it's interesting to think about, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. I just have the women's match on here on the side, and as Bono C says, Wrexham have now scored 1 goal and drawn level at almost 60 minutes in their match. So that's versus Cardiff. They certainly don't want to lose this one because they're well ahead in the ladies' league.
I think the cat's cheering for the goal.
Yeah, someone's cheering anyway. In the background there. Okay. Any other topics, guys, or will we maybe finish it there?
We were a bit defensive today, a bit defensive in certain points, but they were. This was kind of predictable. We knew this was going to happen with the way they were going to play. We knew that they were going to be very. They were going to be very defensive. They were going to play a low block to mid block, and they were going to go hard at us. And we could see it when they got their first goal against us. And that was something I just thought, okay, we really need to, because our defense was going a bit all over the place as well. And we were a bit sloppy at certain points.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say at certain points we were giving balls away a little bit too much. And Windass was just, I think it had something to do with Windass just not being able to just push himself, I think. There might have been something that was there because there was this one pass. There was this one point where this ball was going through in the middle, and Windass was just there, and he just didn't bother to pick it up.
Yeah,
I think his injury probably had a part to play with it, and maybe Parky will not risk him again this way in another game.
One thing I saw today, kind of talking about that, is just think about how we look today against a team that wants to sit back and not have the ball. We have said this late last season, early in this season. The weaker teams in the table who sometimes have to just defend and do counterattacks, we hate playing them. They were one of the worst teams for us because we could not break them down. Look how different our play was today. Now, yes, they could counter on us. Yes, it made it dangerous at times. But in the old style, we would probably get a draw and maybe occasionally lose it when we couldn't score at all and they got in on top of us. Whereas looking at it today, we were very attacking. We had a lot of good opportunities. We could have smacked them 3 or 4-1 had different chances gone in. They obviously could have scored a couple of more chances on us too. But the style is so much different for that defensive team that we run up against now. And we can always revert a bit defensive ourselves with bigger teams, with top teams that are just going to keep pressing us. We can go back to our defensive, but now our new attacking option for the last 2 games has worked against defensive teams.
Yes,
absolutely.
With all the players up front, our counterattacks kept the ball with us for much longer. Previously, it was just hit it to Kiefer Moore and hope he gets the ball, versus take the ball forward and there are two or three people that have to run forward. So that was definitely a better, gives enough rest for the defense for the next wave of attacks. So um, we are still, we still have the Parky mentality, which is once we get ahead, that lead has to be preserved.
Mm.
So that mentality is not going to go away ever. But we definitely have opportunities to give the defense enough rest so that we don't have the scenarios of losing the games which we had earlier in the season.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're still figuring out what exactly that style is for us. We're not there yet. We haven't been doing this for long enough. So things are still evening out the balance between two attacking, two defensive, when to attack, when to defend. There's still a little bit of sloppiness here and there with that. But we're getting better. We're looking better. We're looking more solid.
I think at some point we have to start thinking of our team as a team that can get 3 goals in every match. And I do see them, not being aggressive enough once they get a 1-goal cushion. So I think we have to start looking at the option, and it will only come with confidence. So I don't think it's going to happen overnight. But we have to start looking at, hey, is this team good enough to always look for a 2-goal cushion and not a 1-goal cushion?
Yeah, I would love to see it. Absolutely.
I would say that as well. But one other thing, because I watched the match between Middlesbrough and Middlesbrough and Derby, and you could tell how good their goalkeeper is as well. That's the one thing I was worried about today. Was their goalkeeper? Was it a Strom? Was it a Strom? He was very,
something like that. Yeah, he's very strong. He is.
He's very good. He's incredibly good. When he was stopping, like, the amount of times that Middlesbrough was coming into attack, they were breaking them down, but then it took a while for them to try and break them down, and then they had to deal with the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper was just stopping everything in place. And I was thinking, how are we going to break down? First, we have to break down Derby, and then we have to get past the goalkeeper. And I was thinking, how are we going to do this? Because they're going to be tough.
Yeah.
But we managed to do it. We managed to do that.
Yeah, we did, absolutely.
And it's going to be interesting because I want to see what happens when we go up against Coventry again at their ranks.
Yeah. Completely
And then
different style.
Birmingham.
Well, I suppose this is a style we haven't come up against yet, really, which is a strong footballing possession-based team. And how do we counter teams like that where we don't have the ball at all? Well, not a lot, but in an attacking formation, it'll be interesting to see.
It'll be something similar to when we did what we did to Coventry and Sheffield, where they are much more strong in terms of possession based, but we can go on the transition and take them. We can go on the counter attacks, get the second balls, get turnovers, and just punish them with aggressive pressing. We can. So it's going to be interesting because if we go up against once we go up against Birmingham again, there's going to be this massive clash, and we're at their end as well, so they're going to turn up. They will.
Yeah, both interesting that you mentioned those two, because both Birmingham and Coventry are in our last group of 7, and they're both away matches.
They are.
So they'll be tough matches in that last group of 7 for us.
I'm up for the fight. I want that fight.
And just one thing we will say about Wrexham is they do stand up for the big teams. We don't fall apart because they're a big team. We will stand up and fight versus the top end teams. And we may not be very far off them if we're in the playoffs. Coventry are in second.
There's a couple of teams that are on my list that I want. That I want that smoke.
Mm-hmm.
Swansea's one of them. I want that. I want them to come down to the racecourse just so we can just punish them. They don't play well. They can't. They don't even, like, when we went up against them, they were not that good. They just somehow managed to get goals, but we know why they scored those goals, and we know what was the cause for it. But we know when we go up against them, we will tear them a new one. I know we can do it with this style. That's only going to get better. We know we can tear them apart. Another team I want that's on that list is Hull. I want that Hull match. I want to show them that what you went up against was a weak version of us because we were struggling. We just didn't have the depth at the time. We had some injuries, and we had a city man on the left that was there. That just so happened to be there, but he ain't there right now. And we want that fight. We want that fight. That's another team I want. I want to get some scalps, basically.
Okay, and I think the way we're playing, we're going to do it. We're going to take some more scalps by the end of this season. So, guys, we are on the way to the playoffs. Let's see what we do, how quick we get there. We'll get there. We're just edging our way up. Can't do it too quick, Have to tease people for a little bit. All right, guys, I think I want to leave that there for tonight. That's been a solid 80 minutes. And the wife's home from her couple of days away. So thanks everyone for coming in. I'm going to drop the Discord link as I'm leaving here. If anybody is not in the Discord, then come and join us. We have a lot of conversations in the background in between all the matches and all the different shows. And if you can also hit that like on the way out, please. It would be helpful for the analytics and all that crap that YouTube likes. And on the bombshell, guys, playoff, here we come. We are out. Bye.
So there it goes.